Hi, I'm Rachel Abbasi. Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. As always, thanks for spending time with me. Okay, let's do it. Today is the people-pleasing guide to saying no. But before I get into that, I wanted to announce the Q2 Reads and Recovery book. So this, I'm going a little off in a direction that I don't typically go in because this is an amazing book. I thought it was. I don't like to talk books up too much because all that's left is being let down for the people who actually read it after you. But this is an interesting book called The Girl on the Train. And I'm choosing it because I thought it had a great storyline, but it talks a lot about the craziness of alcohol. And I can't not have this as our next book. So that is the Q2 book, and I have put the description of the book and the link to get it on Amazon if you want to get it on Audible or read it with your hands. Read it as a normal book. You can get it on Amazon. So I have the link and all of that stuff on the Recovery Daily Podcast website. Just follow the link for reads, the tab for reads up at the top, and scroll down and you can find that information. So the Q2 book is The Girl on the Train, and that's by Paula Hawkins. So I just wanted to get that out there. I'll be doing a review of the book in a couple months. So we have that to look forward to, and I hope you enjoyed the book. So the topic today is people pleasing, a guide to saying no. And I was having a conversation with someone about this, and we thought, that would be a great topic for a podcast episode. So here we are. That's how it happens, live action. So people pleasing is something that I can absolutely relate to. It's like there is this desire. So I'm looking past like doing things for people when you want to do things for people. This is more like saying yes when everything in you is telling you to say no. And living with a chronic illness, that is something that happens almost daily as I'm stretching myself further than I should be, knowing that I'm going to be fatigued, I'm going to be in pain, that I'm losing a little by saying yes, in a bad way, in a self-destructive way. So, how do I get past that? How do I actually listen to myself? Yesterday, or no, the day before, I was talking about, no, I wasn't. I was writing. I was writing my book. And what I was writing about was, my mind just went blank. Let's go back. Let's rewind in my brain. Listening to your body. No, I did do a podcast episode about that. Sorry. This is what you get for listening to a podcast by a stroke survivor. Okay. So I was talking about listening to my body. Well, there's also this like listening to my conscience, like listening to that part of me that's trying to take care of me, that poor thing, the poor part of me that I never listen to. She gets so ignored. But how do I listen to that part of me? knowing that if I were to fast forward, I would feel fatigue, maybe even resentment or that pain because I am trying to make somebody else happy. So thinking about people pleasing as something else other than kindness, I think is the angle to look at it by. So, people pleasing is actually, when I'm ignoring that part of me that wants to take care of me, is actually just I'm abandoning her, you know? I'm trying to look virtuous and grateful and kind by pleasing other people, but I'm really abandoning a very important part of me. So, people pleasing is really saying yes to them and saying no to me. And it's I I feel when I'm doing it that I'm being nice. But what I'm really doing is there's a little bit of fear there. There's a little bit of fear of conflict. I don't want, what are they going to say if I say no? Fear of rejection. What are they going to do if I say no? And a little bit of a need for approval. So what am I really doing underneath there? I'm trying to control how others feel about me. By saying yes, I'm trying to control what somebody else is feeling about me. And it comes from a place that is, for me, feels very vulnerable. It feels like it comes from a very vulnerable place where I want to be looked at as being helpful. I don't want to be looked at as someone who is not helpful, is not nice. And I want to keep the peace. And because keeping the peace and being helpful makes me feel safe. So I'm avoiding discomfort and I'm I'm really like I'm outsourcing my self-care, right? I mean, the energy, if I have a limited number of spoons, I'm outsourcing them. I need them for self-care. And that doesn't mean I can't ever do anything for anybody else, but I really have to think long and hard about what do I have the energy for? Um, if I keep saying yes to other people, then I'm going to get burned out. I'm going to get burned out emotionally, in which I have been feeling a little lately. And it, especially having a chronic illness and chronic pain, I don't have the bandwidth emotionally to help other people. I just don't. I don't have the bandwidth. And when I do it anyway, I get resentful. And it's not like they aren't asking me to give more than what I have. It's my choice. I'm choosing to give more than what I have. And then what that leaves me with is stress, fatigue, and that feeling of like, sorry, my mind went blank again. Sorry. That feeling of I don't want to do this. I don't want to help this person. So I'm feeling very frustrated when I'm saying yes to help other people and I don't want to. Um, It's not a stress that I let anybody see. And the fatigue, though, is apparent. And you know who it's apparent to? My husband and me. And that's not fair. That's not fair to him. I actually expressed very quickly and very quietly yesterday or the day before. I expressed a slight bit of frustration. And that frustration is coming out because I said yes to something a month ago, and I have to say yes every day to that commitment. Um, so how can I be more aware at the time that I'm being asked to do something, um, to respond differently? Um, and that is going, guess what that's going to require? I bet you'll never guess. It's going to require a pause. A pause. There it is again. A pause. A pause between the request and my response. Um, if I have somebody that is very upset and asking me for something, I feel this like I feel this tightness, this immediacy. Um, there's no time for negotiation. You know how when we learn about scam and fraud and like people who send you emails that are actually spam, they try to inject a bit of immediacy to the request in the email. It's like, um, you know, not to mention they're lying, which is not what we're talking about here, but a spam email where they're trying to get you to click on something and that's going to like initiate a virus in your computer, something like that. They try to inject that immediacy and they're like, hurry up, you need to click this now, before it's too late, you know? And that's the and you got to fight you get this like tightness, like, you know, your fingers like reaching forward so you can click. That's the same thing. When I'm asked to do something and I feel that other person's like stress, I want to I want to resolve the problem immediately. And that's where the change needs to begin within me. Is becoming more aware of my internal reaction when somebody asks me to do something. Um, so that's one. The next one is redefining what no means. Because no feels like selfishness. It feels like letting somebody down. It feels like I'm rejecting you. Um, I have failed you. You know, that's what no feels like when somebody's asking you to do something. And so redefining for myself, this is my self-talk. I don't have to tell them, you know, I'm gonna say no, but I want you to know that I'm not trying to feel selfish and I don't want to be a failure to you. I'm not rejecting you, but this is what I have to do for my own self-care. I don't have to do that. This is all redefining no in my own head so that I don't have negative self-talk. It's not my job to make somebody else feel better about no. I need to feel better about no. they can go ask somebody else and they will likely get a yes from somebody in the world, right? But no is really, it's self-care. It's it's being honest with myself, but I have to take that pause long enough to know, what is it that I really want? What is it that I want to say? I can't even find that self honesty if I don't pause long enough after the request to think about what it is that's really best for me. So the no gives me, I'm being honest with myself. I'm taking care of myself. I'm respecting my energy. And that adds more clarity into my life. Like, what am I able to do and what I'm not able to do? It's really uh, in this recovery, stroke recovery with a vestibular disorder, I've I've accomplished a very nice schedule where I know I really shouldn't do um, a big thing day after day. That, and what I mean by a big thing is, like, if I'm going to go out to dinner with my husband tonight, that means I shouldn't do anything big tomorrow. I shouldn't, I don't know, go out and be around people or be in public or anything the following day. So my mind just went blank again. This is really a tough day for me. Um, so I have come up with this pretty good schedule where I understand what I can do to meet my physical and emotional needs and spiritual needs while respecting my pain and my disability. So when somebody interrupts that schedule and they come in frantic, they add it's almost like a bit of frantic like request for my help. I put that ahead of my disability and my pain. So I need to be able to say no so that I can stay available for what matters in my recovery. That's a great way to reframe it. And that's why I love to do these episodes, because I get to look at real life challenges, things that I'm facing in real time, and figure out what is a better way to prioritize my recovery while still respecting somebody else's humanity, you know? Um, so here are some practical ways of saying no without over explaining it. Like I was saying, like, I don't need to tell the other person, you know, this is really impeding on my self-care or something like that. Like, I don't need to provide long justifications. I don't need to apologize for simply existing in this world, which is what it ends up feeling like. So, some ways to say no that are simple and direct are: I can't commit to that right now. That's not going to work for me. I'm going to have to pass right now. I'm going to have to pass at this time. Um, how to create that space, that pause between the request and your response is so easy. Let me get back to you. I'm going to have to think about it. It's as easy as that. That person's stress remains that person's stress. Um, expect to be uncomfortable in the beginning as you practice saying no. And this is interesting because in my sobriety program, I've learned how to say yes. When when I was constantly isolating myself, I learned how to get uncomfortable and say yes. Um, I ran across someone in sobriety who said that their program taught them how to say no. And I thought I was intrigued, and she said it taught me how to say no to the things that are unhealthy for me. Like if somebody were to ask me to go out to a happy hour or something like that, and I know that I'm not in the mindset right now to be able to manage my spiritual, emotional, and physical recovery if I go to that happy hour. Like I'm off. Basically, I'm off. Today's not a good day to go to the happy hour. So they said that the program helped them to say no. I always say it helped me to say yes because I was not going to leave my house if I didn't learn from the program how to start getting connected to other sober people. So when I'm also a very energetic person. I don't know if you can tell. So I tend to say yes now that I'm sober. I tend to say yes all the time. And so learning how to say no sometimes makes me feel a little guilty. It makes me feel anxious. It definitely makes me feel like I need to second guess myself. So know that the discomfort in saying no is not a dangerous place to be. It's very normal. And just like in early sobriety, it is my brain creating that habit. And our brains sometimes protest change. Um, if I just keep practicing saying no, you know, within reason, um, I will learn that habit. I'll learn how to do it without feeling guilty and anxious and second guessing myself, knowing that I'm really doing what's best for me. Um, Now, what are other people's reactions going to be like? So if I'm feeling guilty, it's like a recipe for disaster. I'm saying no and I feel guilty and anxious about it and I'm second guessing myself while the other person might feel disappointed in me, may push back, they might not understand. Um, with the two of us together, like it's no wonder I change my mind and say yes, or I say yes because I want to avoid that. I don't want a confrontation. So the other person's reaction is not my responsibility. It's okay for them to be disappointed in me, to push back at me, to not understand. It's okay. And I did learn that in sobriety, or I'm learning that. Nothing is ever past tense for me when it comes to learning. But it's okay for other people to not agree with the way that I live my life and what I need to do. My responsibility is how I respond to my own thoughts, and my responsibility is my own behavior. So I think a great way to start practicing saying no is starting with these like low stakes boundaries. Um, when I say when I say something, this is a good example for me at least. When I say something, stick with the fact that I meant it. Okay, and what I mean by that is like I don't know about you, but I often say something And then I'll say, I'm just kidding. Do you experience that too? Like, um, I don't know. I can't think of an example right now, but I'll say something as if I mean it. And then I look at the other person's reaction and then I say, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. Or I don't follow through with what I'm saying. And so creating those like low stakes boundaries um, will start building my own integrity, my self-interpreted integrity. These are big words for me today, especially at a time when I keep forgetting what I'm talking about. And so practicing these little things, really taking time. There's so much that we can develop in the space of silence. It allows us to get honest with ourselves, to reconnect with ourselves, to understand what is our actual reaction to what's going on around us, people, places, and things. What is our actual feeling about it? What do I actually want? What do I actually have the capacity for? And then I can start building trust again in my own answers. So, this is my advice for saying no. There is this amazing amount of freedom that I gain in my own life. I can be more present because I'm not all caught up in my head about, well, I should have this. I want to do this, but instead I said that I was going to do this. And so without that battle going on between my ears, I can just be more present in the moment that I'm in. I'm being more genuine with other people, and that just creates more peace, really, in my relationships and in my head. So keep in mind that you're not here to manage everyone else's discomfort at your own at the expense of your own comfort. My job is to show up honestly for life and to tell the truth. And the truth sometimes is no, right? It's sometimes to please myself, I need to stop pleasing you. So I learned a lot from this episode, and I really appreciate you sticking through the episode as I lost my place in my brain 3 times. That's just what happens in my life now. But I appreciate you, and thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you next time.